Hi, I'm Charmaine Yip, and today at Preach Magazine, we have a special treat for all fans of The Chosen, the multimedia crowdfunded blockbuster which has taken the world by storm. It's about the life and ministry of Jesus. And I'm chatting today with Liz Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, who's one of my favorite characters in The Chosen. Liz, I was about to call you Mary there. Liz, really, really excited. Lovely to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Can I just start off with just saying that other Bible projects that we've seen in the past, Mary is skulking in the shadows, but your Mary is huge. She undergoes real character development. She's a meaty role. How has this role challenged and changed you as an actor?
It's challenged me by having to go through every single emotion I've ever experienced.
I bet.
Um, it's the way she's been written is so complex and in depth and real and raw. And so I've it's been a challenge, and it's also been this wonderful blessing as an actor to be able to have this character where I'm going through the deepest despair and all the way to the most glorious of heights of joys of
Yes.
redemption and like everything in between. And so it's been hard to play, but also just so rewarding because it's rare for I think even very specifically women to have a type of character that is so rich emotionally.
Absolutely. How do you manage to do all that and still get the accent right?
Yeah. Day by day, scene by scene. Yeah, I mean, I remember especially in season one where like within 1 week I had to switch from Lilith to the redeemed Mary and back to Lilith.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a challenge. It's been about staying in the moment and focusing on the scene at hand that we're filming. And then the accent is, my great grandmother had an accent when I was growing up. She was Armenian and Italian, but lived in Tehran. So she had a really beautiful mixture of dialects. And
Yeah.
so I would play with that dialect growing up. So I kind of started with that accent. And then we all sort of learned from each other, to get the dialect right. But that part's easy now.
Yes, especially now in season three, watching your Mary has brought me closer to Jesus. And I'm not the only one. I've seen sermons crafted around that scene in season one where Jesus heals and redeems Mary and then calls her by her real name. That was incredible. So, how has this affected your own personal faith?
It's um, it's brought me back. I was raised Catholic, and then in my like teen years into my 20s, I was really cynical and skeptical about religion and church and the sort of judgment that I always felt going there and hypocrisy that you read about. And I just thought, well, this isn't it. I loved Jesus's message, and I love the stories in the New Testament, but I didn't ever feel like that was uh, conveyed correctly, I guess, in services. And so I just stopped going to church and was just skeptical about the whole thing. And it wasn't until I went down a sort of path of depression and anxiety, and I think I was looking for fulfillment in everything else. And that can lead you to some sad places. And I was there when I got the audition for Mary. And because of that, of course, I was able to connect with the Lilith portion of her.
Yeah.
Um, and and then booking it was this gift, and it felt like I was trying to quit acting because I was not booking anything. And so I was like, I need to find a more practical career. I couldn't pay rent. I was living with my mom. I was broke. I was just in this kind of bad spot. Yeah, and then getting to play this character has been like this, like, I feel like I've been like pulled out of a reality and plopped into a new one. And I get to, play this dream role in this dream project with these wonderful people, and be a part of a project that brings hope and joy and love to people. And it has reminded me of what Jesus was actually teaching. It reminds me of his real message. And I feel like I'm just constantly learning and growing with it, and growing with Mary. I feel like she's sort of leading the way, and I'm, I mean, it's been life-changing.
Oh, wow. I think that we'll find that strikes a chord with many, many viewers who've had that initial faith experience, and they walked away and come back and spring.
Yeah.
There's a goosebump scene in season 2 where Mary asks Jesus to forgive her. That was so relatable. I think it hit a big, was very popular with so many fans. How did you prepare for that scene? Was that difficult?
Oh, yeah. I think I knew that I couldn't phone it in. And it was like this opportunity to just really to actually say those things and really mean them.
Yeah.
And it was, I haven't really shared that with anyone, but to be able to say these things, and to even admit I can't live up to this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to repay you. I don't know, I don't belong here. I'm not good enough, is how I felt as an actress playing this character. This story is so sacred, and I'm just like, who am I to be playing this? And then of course Jesus's response to Mary is, you don't have to be perfect, and did you think you would never sin again? And God just wants your heart. And it's just been this really sweet and simple message that I take with me, that I always remember when this all gets overwhelming, or when I feel like I can't live up to playing this role. It's a gift.
Yeah, thank you for that. There's a vulnerability in Mary. There's strength, but there's also a great fragility. And you've mentioned in other interviews, in this one, just briefly, you've talked about your own struggles with depression. And is it something you're comfortable to talk about a bit more, and how specifically how that has helped you to relate to Mary?
I struggle with depression. I, even when everything is wonderful in my life, I still struggle with depression. And I don't know if I would have been able to play Mary if I didn't feel that, if I didn't experience that. There's something really lovely about knowing that God has somehow used that to be able to give me this thing that I've only dreamt about. It's like this prayer that has been answered, that I don't think could have been answered if I didn't also go through pain, So it's this reminder that God is with us in our lowest points, and that there is something beyond that. There's something after the low point, and we just have to make it to the next day to get there. And we have to keep trying. And Mary is, I've mentioned in interviews, this like 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of growth pattern. And I think so am I. And yeah, I mean, I feel so lucky that I have this very grand and obvious and dramatic experience that is constantly reminding me of God's love, of the love of from other people, of the joy of humanity, the good side of humanity. And it just makes me like so grateful for all of this. And yet I can still, you know, feel depression, right? And I think it's important to have, I think, sympathy and empathy for people who struggle with that. And I think that's also helped me relate and sympathize with Mary and what she's gone through, and give her love too.
Yeah. It's touched us all. The scars and the strength together have really resonated with a lot of us. We feel like we can relate to Mary. She's so real. It's clear from the Bible, when I read the Bible, how much Jesus loves women, how much he sympathizes with them. And he breaks every taboo in the social mores of his day, in related to them. And The Chosen just brings that out beautifully, because for the first time we see women disciples going along with the men. And is that special for you as a woman to be in a project which shows women working as equals? Paul says, you know, contending side by side for the gospel. How's that for you?
Wonderful. I mean, it's just like, it's progressive for the time, for the first century, but it's also progressive now. You know, I think sometimes it's like superhero movies, there's all the guys and then the one gal, and she has to be perfect looking. And I think with this show, it's showing all these female stories, a variety of them, mothers, daughters, wives, entrepreneurs, ex-addicts. You know, there's like this plethora of these female experiences that are being portrayed through the lens of the show. And it's nice to know that a lot of different types of women can relate to this show for lots of different reasons. And as an actress, I'm just so grateful to be able to play one of those characters.
Okay, just very quickly, my last question. End of the scene where we see you ask Jesus forgiveness. We see Matthew. That was so sweet. What season 3 got in store for Mary?
Oh, she gets to stabilize her emotions a little bit. She's growing in her confidence, and she's starting to use her past and her pain as a way to recognize it in other people. And we're seeing her do this thing that she's really never done before, which is like starting to give advice and recommend certain things, and share these insights that you know, that are helpful to the people around her. I think this is a season where a lot of the other characters are going through this sort of dramatic difficulties that Mary has been going through. So she's gone through it already, and knows there's something wonderful on the other side. And so now she's able to sort of be there and give that advice to the others. And there's a lovely scene with Matthew that's similar to that, and with Tamar and with Eden, and she's I think she's maturing a little bit, which is nice.
It's lovely. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You have our prayers and our support. The Chosen is a great favorite for us at Preach Magazine. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Bye.